Hello, good day, wherever you are watching me from. My name is Joseph Ocheme, and I'm the content creator of Fuelless Hub channel. And this is a training series. This is a teaching series. There's actually a paid section. Now, this is a tutorial on the Fuelless generator and other free energy systems. There are some things that are actually achievable, but if you don't know the roots of getting into them, you might seem it is very difficult to work, very difficult to do. So I'm speaking to you on the basis of my experiences in the past, my experiences present. So that is the basics for this teaching. When it comes to the free energy systems, many people believe it is not possible. Many people believe it is possible. Many people have been scammed through some videos. So if you are watching this video, this tutorial right now, I'm urging you to please be very careful for any scam process that is ongoing on the internet. So let's go into the business, and let's go into why you are here, why you paid for the training. So first of all, we're going to look at the Fuelless generator. Now, the key important thing here in the Fuelless generator is the electric motor, the alternator. Those are the two key main parts. Now, I'm going to explain something straightforward. The generator, you know, the generator you all know, that is the alternator, you know. Or let me just use the generator that you have in your home that is using diesel or gasoline. Why that generator is producing light? It is because of a rotation on the armature. It's because of the rotation. Because what an alternator needs is just rotation. A rotation that has power. So once the generator is being rotated, it will definitely bring light. Whether you apply any modification or whatever you want to do, it doesn't concern it. As long as there is a rotation in the alternator section of the generator, it will definitely produce light. Now, the generator you are using, let me go back to my earlier statement. The generator you are using at home that uses fuel is made up of two components. We have the electrical part and we have the mechanical part. The electrical part brings light, while the mechanical part rotates the electrical part for it to bring light. I believe my explanation is simple enough for you to get it. There are two parts, the electrical and the mechanical. It is the mechanical side you put the gasoline, that there's a piston, the engine, that's where you put the engine oil. So the function of that is just to create a rotation that has power, so that it can rotate the electrical part, so that it can bring light. Now, we are dealing on the basic principle now, for you to understand before we go deep into where we are going to. Now, those are the two functions that produce it. Now, on the making of the Fuelless generator, definitely there is a need for an alternator, because we must definitely use light. We must use light from somewhere, either the alternator or we use light from an inverter, anywhere. But there must be a usage of light from somewhere, which we get from the alternator. And when I mean alternator, I'm not referring to car alternator. I'm referring to the mechanical, the gasoline fuel generator, which is right here, which I'm going to show you, which I'm going to show you for those who have not seen it. Now, on the making of this Fuelless generator, the key thing to be considered here is, quote and unquote, the electric motor, because we need a mechanical system that can rotate the alternator to bring light. You understand me? We need a mechanical thing that doesn't use fuel, because just like how our words imply, fuelless generator, you must do something that doesn't use fuel. Neither will it use neither will it use oil in any form, be it engine oil or whatsoever. So now we've gotten the alternator which produces light. Now there is a need now for something to rotate it to our own frequency. So we use an electric motor. Many people use DC motor, some people use AC motor. But our area of concentration here is the electric motor. Now, using an electric motor is not a problem. Many people use electric motor, but they are stuck in using the electric motor because electric motor is designed originally to consume a lot of amperage. It's designed to consume a lot of amps. That is how electric motors are being built. Now, there is a modification system. There is a modification system which we did to the electric motor and which have its own calculation. There is a modification we did on the electric motor that enable us to rotate an alternator with a lower current, with a lesser amps, or with a lesser watts, if I may say, either amps, watts, or whatsoever. Or let me just use the simple thing, with a lower electric current to spin an alternator to produce light, and whereby reversing the charge back. All this system, there is a technology to all this system that is on the electric motor. Now, let me deviate a bit. There is some people that invents a kind of electric motor. A kind of electric motor that that uses magnets. Sorry, a kind of electric motor that uses magnets all through. So those ones is an advanced course. It actually costs money, because me attempting to get something like that, when I called one of my co-associates to get such, he said to build that will cost for a 20 kVA, for what can rotate a 20 kVA, to cost nothing less than 6 million naira, 6 million to 7 million naira for that machine alone. So when the machine is set, that's when you cannot bring alternator and join it. Very simple, because the key point here is the electric motor, is what is rotating. So we need what will rotate it, so that what will rotate it will be void of fuel or oil in any way. And in as much as it is void of fuel, you must make sure that the electric motor which we are using must be a standard electric motor. It must be a standard electric motor that consumes a lower amp. Now, I want to move into why the fuelless generator is not working. Why this fuelless generator is not working. Many people have tried it. And let me just bring this information. There are scams video on the internet which you need to. Now, there are scam videos on the internet that shows you that maybe you see it from all these Bangladesh or Indian guys that will bring an alternator and carry a small electric motor and put it and rotate it and do a self-running. That is not what they are doing. Is not possible. That thing they are doing is not achievable like that. It won't work. Most of all those videos are just for view sake and for click sake. So that is why those videos are being there, to deceive so many people. And many people have tried that, putting flywheel and everything, and it's not working. So number one reason why some fuel generators are not working, I'm just giving the basis or basic principle. Number one, the basic reason why fuel generator is not working is because of the back EMF. There's what we call back EMF. If that word is strange to you, let me explain what back EMF, back EMF. Let me explain what it is. For example, now the gasoline generator that you have, once you start it up, once you put load to the alternator or to the generator, you will notice a sound. You will notice a drop in sound, a drop in voltage. So that is what we call back EMF. That is what we call back EMF. And the reason for that back EMF, it is because the mechanical part and the electrical part has a linkage. The mechanical part, the electrical part and the mechanical part has a linkage. That is why when you are using from the electrical part, there is a back EMF in the electrical part that brings it down, that makes the mechanical part to slow down. So we call it counter EMF. Every load appliances in the whole world are all magnetic. All the appliances in the whole world, be it your fan, your TV, anything you use, anything at all, any electrical equipment you can think of, have what we call EMF, and they are magnetic in nature. So once you are using it from a light source, there is a trend for a magnetic flux inside the generator to hold itself together. So as it holds itself together, there will be a drag in the mechanical part that makes the mechanical parts to go down. Now, that is one of the key thing that is fighting the fuelless generator. And also, why I told you that it is because of the direct linkage between the electrical parts and the mechanical parts, the direct linkage, because there is a linkage, because the mechanical part must turn the electrical part for it to bring light. Do you understand me now? So that is the reason why when you use from the electrical, it will affect the mechanical. Now, let me throw another example for you. For example, you have a pumping machine. I believe most of you would know what is wind turbine or hydropower system. What I mean by hydropower system, they are just like an alternator that when you spin the wheel with water, it will rotate and it will begin to produce light. So there is a big wheel. If I'm chance, I'm going to put the picture so you can see. So there is a big wheel. There is a big wheel that rotates, that water rotates so that it can bring light. Now, I'm giving an analysis here. I'm giving an analysis here so you can understand what I'm talking about. Now, for example, you have a pumping machine. Let's say a 2 horsepower pumping machine, for example, that pumps water out. Now, we want to use that water that pumps out from the electric motor. We want to use it to spin a wheel. We want to use it to spin an alternator that has wheel on it. Now, if we use the electric motor, which is a pump, and use the water coming out from it to spin an alternator, that is the water that comes out from the pumping machine, be it electrical or whatsoever, the water that is coming out to spin a wheel, at spinning the wheel, that is the force of the water now is splashing on the wheel of the alternator. And once it is splashing, it will definitely produce a voltage from the alternator. Now, anything we use from that alternator, I'm just throwing it as a question, anything we use from that alternator, will it affect the electric motor current? Let me give you 5 seconds. Will it affect the electric motor if we are using from the alternator? Will it affect the pumping machine? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whatever your answer is, the answer is no. It will not affect the pumping machine because there is no direct linkage with the mechanical part, which is our water system now. There is no mechanical part that is joined with the electrical part. You understand me? Because there is a pumping machine. The job of the pumping machine is just to pump water. So we now use the water from the pumping machine to spin a wheel. The force is just spinning the wheel. So if we are using from the alternator, which the wheel is being spun by the electric motor, if we use a current from the generator or from the alternator, it will not bounce back. There will be no much current. In fact, there will be no current drawn from the pumping machine. there will be no current drawn in any way, because only what the pumping machine does is just to pump water. So whatever you use the water for, it doesn't concern the electric motor. So anything you use from the alternator, it does not affect. Now that is two systems I just tell you. One that has back EMF, one system that doesn't have a back EMF. Now there is a guy who did a fuelless generator that uses water. It is the same system we also use, the other system, because that system is void of back EMF. There is no counter force affecting whatsoever where the power is coming from. So there is a man, if I have opportunity, I'll post it on here, which you can see. His name is Emeka Nelson. He was interviewed on Channels TV. You can search about it, Emeka Nelson, or just type Emeka Nelson Channels TV water generator. You can search it. So you can search it. He produced a generator. When you are less busy, or you can pause the video, search it, or anytime you want to search it. He did a water system of what I just explained now in a different form, which I have the diagram, I have everything to do that. Do you understand? So he made that to work, which is void of back EMF. He did it. It is the same hydro system he implied, because there is no back EMF. So it is easy to achieve that because there is no back EMF. Now, that is just aside. That is one side of what we are discussing. That is just one side. But the purpose of me telling you this is for me to differentiate between a back EMF and a non-back EMF system. Back EMF and a non-back EMF system. So those are the two types. So the EMF system is gone. So that is that about that. So let's move into our own fuelless generator system. We employ a modified electric motor system. We employed a modified electric motor system. So once I give you the principle, because I'm going to give you the principle of the electric motor system. After this video, that will be the end of our tutorial section. I will send the video to you to see how the electric motor system is being done. But lastly, I will just explain how the electric motor works. I will explain how the electric motor works. I'm trying to wrap up the whole system to go straight to the point so that I won't waste your time. So I will send you the video. If you have any electric motor there, you can test it. There. It is a simple method, but not, it is an easy method. Or how will I put it? It's easy, it's simple, but not everything comes easy. So in the next video, I'm going to explain how the electric motor is being done. But on this video, I will explain how the electric motor works. Then on the later video, I will show you how the electric motor is being done and how it consumes such a low amperage that we can effectively use in rotating an equipment, be it your grinding engine, be it anything whatsoever it may be. So the electric motor is a system that saves close to 65% of power being drawn from the source. For example, a 3 horsepower electric motor consumes around 5 to 6 amps on idle when the electric motor is not carrying any load, just on the running amps, because there's starting amps and there's running amps. Starting amp is what starts the motor up, right? Why running amps is what keep the motor running. So I'm talking about the running amps right here. The running amps of a normal 3 horsepower electric motor is around 5 to 6 amps. It's around 5 to 6 amps. But on the modified system, On the modified system, it consumes 0.5 amps to 1 amp. 0.5 to 1 amp. Now, why the system is like that is because any electric motor we want to modify, it must be done by that particular electric motor. We can't use this electric motor, the numbers or the equipment we use for this. The electric motor we are using a particular modification work, or on a particular modification on, cannot actually work on the other electric motor, because the system must be tested by the electric motor itself. So that is how the modification is being done. So a normal 3 horsepower motor consumes 5 amps to 6 amps on idle, that is on running, while the modified one consumes 0.5 to 1 amp on full operation, giving you delivering the same speed and delivering your effective power. So we use that to rotate something tangible. So that is how the electric motor works. So it's just a system that we have to configure the control box and do to achieve such in our system. So that will be all for today. That will be all for now. In the next section, I'm going to make a practical video on how it works on the electric motor to demonstrate its functionality. Thank you so much. This is Fuelless Hub. It is for you, for your own season, for your own section. That is why this video is being made, and everything is being done based on recent research of mine to put this video to you. Thank you so much. You're welcome. See you in my next video. Bye.